All right, let's dive in. If you're a developer using an AI coding assistant, you know it can feel like you've got superpowers. But I bet you've also had that moment of pure frustration when it just completely ignores you. Today, we're going to unpack this secret, counterintuitive guide to finally getting your AI partner to actually listen.
So let's just hit the big question right away, the one we've all screamed at our monitors. You spend all this time writing the perfect set of instructions, you lay out your whole project, and then the AI just goes off and does its own thing. Why? What is going on there? Well, it turns out the answer is way more interesting than just, a simple bug.
Okay, so the first piece of this puzzle is what I like to call the AI's amnesia problem. Seriously, imagine you're pair programming with an absolute genius, who also happens to have the worst short-term memory imaginable. That's what's happening with these large language models. Every single time you give it a new task, it's starting completely from scratch.
And that brings us to this key term right here, stateless. This is everything. See, unlike a human teammate who remembers what you were working on yesterday, the AI's brain is basically frozen in time. It doesn't learn or get smarter between your chats. The only thing it knows about your project is whatever information, whatever context, you give it in that one single moment.
So this stateless thing has three massive implications for us. One, it starts out knowing absolutely nothing about your code. Two, you have to basically onboard it as a new team member every single time. And three, this is why that central context file, you might call it claude.md or something similar, is so ridiculously important. It's the one cheat sheet that gets fed to the AI every time. But, and this is a big but, that's where the next problem kicks in.
So you're probably thinking, okay, cool, I'll just cram everything I can into that context file. But if you've actually tried that, you know it usually doesn't work. And here's the wild part. It's not a bug. Your AI assistant is, in a very real way, designed to ignore you.
Okay, get ready for this, because this is a genuine aha moment. This piece of info changes everything about how you work with these things. The secret is hiding in just one little instruction that gets chow slipped into the AI's system prompt.
And there it is. That's the smoking gun. This little system note is literally telling the AI to be skeptical of the very file you're giving it. It's been instructed to ignore your instructions if it doesn't think they're highly relevant to the specific little thing it's doing right now. So you have to ask, why on earth would they do that? Well, it's basically a defense mechanism. Too many of us were using those context files as a dumping ground for random, one-off fixes and rules that just cluttered things up and made the AI perform worse. So the system nudges the AI to only pay attention to the big, broad, universally true instructions. And that leads us right to our first big strategy.
This brings us to a totally counterintuitive principle. The less is more rule. I know it sounds backward, but trying to give your AI more info, more rules, and more instructions is one of the fastest ways to make it fail at everything.
Let's put a number on this, because it really makes it click. Research shows that even the biggest, baddest AI models out there can only reliably track about 150 to 200 different instructions in one go. That's it. That's its entire working memory for your request.
And here's the kicker. Before you even type a single word, the hidden instructions from the AI's creators, the system prompt, can chew up around 50 of those instruction slots. A huge chunk of its attention is already gone before you've even asked it to do anything.
And this slide just shows you how bad that overload is. For the giant, expensive models, yeah, performance dips a little as you add more rules. But for the smaller, faster models that most of us are actually using every day, the performance doesn't just dip, it falls off a cliff. It's a steep, dramatic drop. And the worst part is, it doesn't just ignore the new rules. Its ability to follow any of the rules gets worse.
So if we can't just throw the kitchen sink at the AI, what's the move? Well, the answer is to stop giving the AI a giant instruction manual and start giving it a map. This is all about a powerful idea called progressive disclosure.
And this illustrates it perfectly. On the left, that's the old way. That huge, messy wall of text we've all tried to write. On the right, that's the smart way. It's clean, it's simple. Instead of pasting in the database schema, you just tell the AI where to find the schema file when it actually needs it.
This is why you should always prefer pointers over copies. Think about it. Any code you paste into that context file is a snapshot in time. The second the real code changes, your copy is outdated. A file reference, though, that's always pointing to the latest version, the single source of truth. It ensures your AI is never working with old info.
Now, this less is more idea also applies to code style. One of the most common mistakes I see is people packing their context file with rules about spacing and quotes and all that. You're basically asking your AI to be an incredibly expensive, slow, and unreliable code linter. It's time to delegate.
I mean, just look at this table. It's a no-brainer. A real linter or formatter is instant, it's cheap or free, and it is 100% deterministic. It does the exact same thing every time. The AI is the total opposite on all three. Using it for code style is just a massive waste of its limited attention and, frankly, your money.
And here's the best part, you don't even need to tell it your style rules. These models are amazing in-context learners. If you give it access to your code base, it'll look at the code that's already there, see the patterns, and just naturally follow them. Let it learn by example, not by following a list of boring rules.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about what to cut out, but I really want to drive home why getting this one file right is so important. Your context file, that little claude.md, is without a doubt the highest leverage point in this whole system. It's where a tiny bit of effort gets you massive results.
And this quote just nails it. A single bad line of code in your app, okay, it's one bug, you fix it. But a single bad instruction in your context file, that's like a virus. It has this huge ripple effect, potentially corrupting every single thing the AI does after that. It's a bug multiplier.
All right, let's wrap this all up into your new playbook. First, keep your context file short and sweet. Stick to universal rules. Second, use progressive disclosure. Tell the AI where to look for info. Third, always prefer pointers to copies. Fourth, let your linter handle the code style. And finally, number 5, because this file is so powerful, craft it by hand, take your time, never, ever auto-generate it. And that really leaves us with this final big idea. Mastering these tools isn't just about coding faster. It's a fundamental shift. When you stop trying to dictate every tiny detail and you start carefully crafting the perfect high-level context, you're not just writing code anymore. You're becoming an orchestrator of intelligence. Thanks for watching.